Hello everyone, my name is Simeon Shaduke, and today I'm going to be making an individual video project. I'm completing this for my class, my course, Cybersecurity Principle and Applications. The name of my instructor is Grant Jennifer, and before I dive into this video, I'm just going to make a disclaimer that this video is solely for educational purpose, and I am not going to be liable for any damages that could be caused using this demonstration. So let's dive right into the presentation. Today we're going to be talking about a comprehensive overview of zero trust security. I know we have heard of, some of us have probably heard of zero trust. I mean, if you're researching this topic or if you're seeing this slide, you probably have an idea of what zero trust is. But in this video, I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to be talking about, the foundations of zero trust, the core trust, zero trust architecture components, and also some of the benefits, the challenges, practical steps to migrating towards zero trust, and also future directions in zero trust security. Then understanding the foundations of zero trust. Now, you might ask yourself this question: what is zero trust? Zero trust is a security frame that assumes no user or device is trusted by default inside or outside the network. It emphasizes strict identity verification, least privilege access, and continuous validation to minimize risk. The concept behind zero trust is to not trust anyone and always verify. It doesn't matter if you've logged in before, I still need you to type in your password. That's kind of the concept behind zero trust. When we talk about strict identity verification, this emphasizes on verifying every user and every device before gaining access. Now, least privilege access is, like it's literally says, giving the least privilege access. If you want to do, let's say, for example, you want to do something on my laptop or on my phone, I'm only going to give you privilege to access what you want to do, which limits you from, going into some other application and doing something else. Continuous validation is basically, you're in the system, but I still need you to verify yourself as you go. Expect probably this could be periodically, this could be as you, try to access more things, or whatever the case may be. Now, why zero trust? Unlike traditional perimeter-based security, which trust internal networks, zero trust eliminates implicit trust and treats all traffic as potential malicious, enhancing protection against breaches and insider threats. So zero trust is basically, an improved kind of security barrier against scammers, against hackers. The traditional way of security includes a lot of trust that's in today's day and age, where we have stolen passwords, where we have a lot of these things going on. That's not really effective anymore. You really need to verify who is logging in, who is using the computer at all time, who is using your phone. Even in today's age where we have remote workers working over cloud, mobile devices, and there's an increased surface area of attack now. And that's why we need zero trust. That's why zero trust is important. And By the time we get more into this presentation, into this video, you're going to understand and you're going to begin to see how zero trust is becoming more implemented even in our day-to-day life. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the core zero trust architecture components. We have identity and access management. This ensures only verified users gain access through a robust authentication and authorization measures. We have device security, which protects endpoints by enforcing security policies and monitoring devices compliances continually. We have network segregation. This divides network into smaller zones to limit lateral movement of threats and control access. Continuous monitoring and data protection. This is basically constantly tracking activities to safeguard data, to protect breaches and unauthorized access. I'm going to talk about these in details in the following slides. First of all, let's talk about identity and access management. This is a technology that verifies user identity and enforces least privilege policy, multi-factor authentication, role-based access control, and privileged access management. And these are very important because when we talk about zero trust, don't trust, always verify. Take for example your iPhone you use, you know, let's say you have a face lock on your phone. In this day and age, like we all know, you unlock your phone. If a stranger gets a hold of your phone and is able to get past the pin, and he tries to access your banking information, for example, it still needs to verify. So getting past the first pin or the first, face lock, if they somehow manage to get past it, they still have to type in your password to get into your banking information. Or let's say they want to get into your photo gallery. This in today's day and age where it's iPhone has made it possible for you to lock individual apps. That is also a key factor, a key example of zero trust. Now, you might be wondering, if the phone is mine, why do I need to lock every single app on the phone when I can just lock the whole phone? It's because you never want to trust. Even though you can unlock the phone, you still need to, take other security measures by saying whoever unlocked my phone could be a potential threat. It could be someone that stole the phone or picked it up somewhere. Now, how do we ensure someone that just stole your phone doesn't get access to your all your applications and all your data? Is by taking the extra step to also lock those down. Because when you think about it literally, you might think whoever unlocks this phone is got to be the owner of the phone. But in reality, the phone could be stolen by someone who wants to tap into your banking information or into some valuable information you might have on your phone. And this is how zero trust works. It furthermore explains and expands on do not trust, always verify. The laptop is yours. It does not necessarily mean you're the one trying to gain access to the laptop. Always verifying every single thing. Role-based access control is basically a system in zero trust that most of companies today they use. Like in the company where I work, if you are a so-called manager of a so-called department, by the time you log into your system, you only get access to things that are pertaining to your department. You don't get access to the whole company database. You only get access to what concerns you based on your role, and that kind of keep things controlled so that if a an hackers or if an attacker gain access to your password or if someone from a company decides to want to do something bad to the company by using their access, they only have restricted authorization. That's role-based access control. That's how that helps, in preventing breaches and attack. We have privileged access management, which enforces strict control over, system to protect resources. Now we're going to go to the device security. Now, when we talk about device security, we have device posture validation. Every device is authenticated and must prove it complies with the enterprise security standard before accessing resources. When some companies give you their company laptop, the moment you step foot out of the company, if you try to access anything on the company's database, it won't work because it only works in the vicinity of the company or people that work from home. The company set up VPN for them to be able to access, their work from home. If they take it out of their home address or out of that area, it no longer works. That's device security, device posture validation. Continuous assessment. The device health is being reevaluated throughout a session, not just the login, in case something abnormal is noticed, so they can always keep track of it. Non-compliant handling. Device failing posture check can be denied, quarantined, or given, no access. Integration with policy engine. Integration network segmentation and microperimeter is basically, separating, you know, sections, dividing network into smaller zones to limit breach and impact and reduce lateral movement of threats. If a company has a big room where they keep all of their assets and all of their information and all of everything, if someone breaks in, if there's a fire, everything gets burnt up, everything gets stolen. So network segmentation is like taking pieces of assets and separating them into different smaller zones. So if someone breaks into one room, they only have access to a small portion of the company, not the whole database. So that's kind of the reasoning behind network segmentation. Microperimeter applies to granular access control to strengthen network security within each segment. Continuous authentication and monitoring. This refers to ongoing verification. Zero Trust demands continuous verification of both the user identity and the device integrity to ensure security. Behavioral analytics. Behavioral analytics monitor user activity performed to detect unusual suspicious behavior in real time. Once they notice that, okay, something is going on that, the user of this device does not usually partake in, then that could be a suspicious activity for the device to, okay, let's verify to see if the person using the device is actually the owner of said device. Adaptive authentication. Adaptive authentication adjusts security requirements dynamically, basically on risk, access, and anomalies detected. Um, so zero trust is a very broad security system. And right before we dive into the benefits and challenges of zero trust implementation, I'm going to give a quick example of a company that recently implemented um, zero trust. DoorDash was an app. I used to be a DoorDash driver. I still am, but I don't do it so much. Now, when people sign into DoorDash to start, taking orders and delivering orders, you can just, as long as you sign in, you open up your phone, it's just gonna let you to start dashing. But excuse me, ever since DoorDash found out that people sign up for DoorDash and then give someone else access to their account to go make money for them and then bring back a certain percentage, DoorDash implemented a system where when you open your phone like normal and you open the DoorDash app and you sign in, it won't just let you start taking orders. It's going to verify your identity. It's going to pop up a camera screen and it's going to prompt you to put your face in the screen, and then it's going to scan your face and it's going to check that against your ID card that's registered into the system to verify you are the actual person trying to go take orders. Because if something happens then and you give your phone or your account to someone else and they come looking for you, but meanwhile the person that was taking the orders at the time was someone you gave your phone to. So DoorDash implemented that security system just of recent, because when I started doing DoorDash about 2 years ago, they didn't have that. So every day by day, there's implementation of zero trust. Most of these companies are implementing it in one way or the other. Even when you go to travel, when you go to the airport, you go from one TSA, you go to check in your ID, to check in your ticket, a bunch of verification systems you have to go through before just getting into the plane. You don't just go to one place, oh, checks out, go in. No, they have to verify you like 2 or 3 times. They even pull some people to the side. It's a no trust, always verify system. Zero trust is not something that just pertains to software. You know, it's an everyday concept. Now let's dive into the benefits and challenges of zero trust implementation. Some of the obvious benefits is enhanced security and reduced attack surface. Minimized breach risk. Zero trust reduce breach risk by enforcing strict access control and continuous trust validation. Reduce surface attack surface. It reduces the attack surface, one, like I said earlier, by network segmentation. When things are sectioned off into smaller rooms, an attacker would not have full access to everything, so it reduces the attack surface. Mitigated insider threats by continuously verifying if the so-called user of a device is the one still using the device. Zero trust has reduced the risk of an insider threat or someone stealing your login to, access the company's database. Some challenges we run through while trying to implement zero trust, because zero trust has so many advantages, but there are also disadvantages to it. One of the disadvantages, no company can fully eliminate cybersecurity risk. One way or the other, there's still going to be, something. Zero trust reduces overall risk when combined with identity access management, monitoring, and cyber hygiene. Some threat poses unique challenges during zero trust implementation. Stolen credentials, insider threats, these are some of the challenges that that faces zero trust. Storage of system and network information, use of non-person entities. Zero trust, while trying to secure and create a more secure um, environments and systems, it implements some bots and automated agents that helps manage zero trust. But these bots and automated agents, they can make mistake, they can be tricked into approving malicious activity because they often use weaker authentication. They create something we call a backdoor risk. Now, on this next slide, we're going to be talking about practical step to migrating towards zero trust concept. Some of the steps towards migrating into zero trust is accessing the readiness of the organization or the company that is about to adapt zero trust. Evaluate the security posture. That's review existing system and policies to spot strengths and weaknesses before zero trust adoption. Identify security gaps, detect weakness and areas lacking protections within the organization security framework. Ensure cultural and resources support. Confirm with the leadership, the workforce alignment, and resources are ready to sustain zero trust. Ensure resource availability. As much as zero trust is so good and important, it also costs money. You also have to make sure the company has the resources available to implement zero trust. Now, developing a zero trust roadmap. This is kind of like a roadmap a company is going to follow if they want to implement zero trust. Phased implementation plan. Now, before implementing zero trust, a company or an organization need to roll out zero trust gradually. They need to start with low risk workflow before moving to critical processes. Prioritize critical assets. Focus on protecting the most important assets and use cases first to maximize risk reduction benefits. Measure progress and risk. Ensure measurable progress with clear metrics and continuous assess risk reduction effectiveness. Measure and adapt. Use clear metrics to track progress and refine policies that balance security usability. Integrating zero trust into existing system. Leverage existing security. Now, when we want to implement zero trust, we don't want to just, change everything. We want to build on top of what we already have. Another example of this is going to be your iPhone. When, we bring in this verification process with face recognition, right? When we brought in face recognition, they did not get rid of the pattern, you know, lock. They did not get rid of the pin. They built on it. They made it as a secondary, authentication process. They did not just get rid of it. So when trying to integrate zero trust, we need to build on existing IAM, logging in, device management instead of replacing everything at once. Gradual implementation. Introduce zero trust components step by step to maintain the operational stability and reduce disruption. Introducing the whole and replacing the whole system can just cause a whole big blow that the company would probably not be able to fix. So, gradual implementation is very important. Ensure compatibility. Maintain compatibility between zero trust technology and existing systems for seamless security enhancements. What are future directions in zero trust security? Where do we see this going? Zero trust. Now, zero trust and cloud service. What's the future? What does the future looks like? As more organizations move workload to the cloud, zero trust ensure users and devices are verified before connecting to cloud and app cloud apps, and data, securing distributed environments. Zero trust strengthens security across multi-cloud and hybrid setup where resources may sit in a different provider. Zero trust in remote and hybrid work models, especially now when more and more people are just beginning to work from home. Zero trust is becoming more vital and important. Secure user connection. Zero trust ensures secure connection for users irrespective of their physical location through the use of, for example, VPN. I currently have my work laptop. This is my work laptop that was given to me. But there is also a VPN implemented on this laptop that has been registered that allows me to be able to work from wherever I am. Now, before I couldn't, once I leave my step foot out of my workplace, I couldn't do anything with this laptop. It was just useless. But once the VPN was implemented, it allowed me to be able to, work from anywhere. Device trust emphasis. Access isn't just about login credentials. Device health, updates, and security posture must also be verified, just like we talked about earlier. Continuous validations. Emerging technologies and evolving threats. This is something that we really need to look at because the rise of AI is becoming very, very alarming. We can both agree. But as AI grows, these bad guys, these hackers, they also utilize AI to carry out their activities. Now, AI and machine learning impact. Smarter tools are being used to spot anomalies facts, which is helping zero trust adapt to ever changing attack patterns. I mean, if the bad guys are utilizing AI, we might as well adopt and use AI to help us, AI fighting against AI. Automation in cyber defense. Security processes are becoming more automated, reducing response time and scaling protection across the enterprise. Adapting to smarter attacks. Hackers constantly develop new tactics. Zero trust must evolve too, ensuring defenses stays one step ahead. We can't. We need to try to stay ahead of these guys because they're growing with the times. They're utilizing everything at their disposal. So we also need to stay one step, two steps ahead of them. Now, the conclusion of this, it's been quite a long slide, quite a long video. Transformative cybersecurity approach. Zero trust is more than just a framework. It has become a mindset. You need to have that mindset. I need to have that mindset to never trust. Even if you watch most of these sci-fi movies nowadays, most of these action movies, you can't trust anybody nowadays. You cannot trust. Anything is possible. Anything. It has become more than just a framework, it's now a mindset that is set to replace traditional implicit trust with continuous verification, reducing risk and increasing resilience. By focusing more on identity, device health, and continuous monitoring, organizations and companies can defend themselves better against evolving threats. Future ready cyber defense. Zero Trust prepares organizations to handle cybersecurity challenges proactively. After listening to this slide, I hope you've been able to pick up a couple of things about zero trust. Never trust. I hope that sticks. Zero trust. Anything, it could be anybody, it could be from anywhere. Zero trust. Always verify. Always verify. And these are some. works that are cited in this presentation in case you want to take a further look into some of the articles that I looked at to put this together. These are some of them. Thank you very much for watching and stopping by.